Hi everyone, Christopher here, and welcome back to Fossil Forward Finds. Today we're going to do a little something different. It should be my What Sold video, but I'll save that for later in the week. Instead, I'm going to discuss how I do my sorting of postcards, specifically how I sort them to prepare them for listing. It's something that I've been needing to do to get my own listing done, but I've been putting it off because I've been wanting to make this video, so in the name of progress, I have made this video. Let's go. Alright, so before I get into showing you my setup, there's a little bit to discuss with sorting postcards, or not sorting postcards. There's basically two schools of thought on it. Some folks, like my friend Mark over at SM Postcards, they don't sort through postcards. To take Mark as an example, as I understand it, he's more than content to just take a chunk of postcards out of his postcard box and scan them and just kind of list them as they go. So he might be doing a bird postcard, and then the next one might be Fort Ticonderoga, and maybe a waterfall over in Nevada, or, well, you get the idea. You just kind of list them as they come. And there is certainly an advantage to that. When you do your listing that way, you have the advantage that you're throwing a whole bunch of different categories up on eBay at once as far as postcard topics. And if you're new to postcards, what you'll find out fairly quickly, I think, is that the topic, the image on the front of the postcard, in most cases, is what sells the postcard. I have had buyers who buy specifically for the back, but I think in most cases people are buying for the subject matter. So if you go the non-sorting route, you just pick your stack of postcards and list them as they come. You have that advantage of a variety of topics. But there's also something to be said for sorting. And it really kind of depends on what your situation is. I work full-time, so I don't have as much time during the day to devote to listing postcards or whatever I'm listing. So if I can speed that process up, then it's beneficial. So what I like to do is I like to sort. Whether it be all of one city or all of one type of animal or national park or whatever. And what this allows me to do is, one, I don't have to fill out as many fields in my listing template. You know, if they're all Grand Canyon, then, well, Grand Canyon's going to stay up there in the subject matter, landscape's probably going to stay up there in the theme, etc., etc., etc. I may have to change the publisher, brand, whatever, from time to time, but for the most part, I get to keep a lot of those fields the same. And, you know, for some folks that might seem trivial, that might be only a few seconds here, but it does add up. But I think where it really saves me personally the most time is I'm still a comper. I still like to comp almost all my cards. I've only been doing postcards a couple years now. I don't have the full breadth of experience that some folks do. But if I'm comping the same subject matter all at once, I'm going to get a pretty good idea after a few looks what type of cards I need to be looking for as I'm going through my stack. And, you know, all right, I've seen 10 of this one already on Terra Peak. I probably don't need to look at Terra Peak again. I'll just set my base price or whatever I think is reasonable and go from there. And I will say, depending on what category you're working on, you're still throwing up a bunch of subject matter. So, for example, say I'm listing a whole bunch of Chicago postcards. Sure, if someone's not interested in buying Chicago, then they're probably not going to be interested in what I'm putting up. But, one, I will get those people who are interested in Chicago postcards looking at what I'm listing. If I'm listing bridges while I'm listing Chicago postcards, the people who are interested in bridges will be looking at them. Chicago cemeteries, city halls, schools, etc., etc., etc. Every city has a whole wealth of different categories within itself. So you're still capturing um, a, a, a broad range of collectors. You're just kind of doing it in a different way. So I think there's a positive method to either approach. You just got to figure out what works for you. For me, at the moment, sorting uh, is the method that I am finding that works the best for me. I probably had more points I want to make. If I think of them, I'll bring them back up later. But let me show you the process that I got going on. Alrighty, so the first part of this sorting process setup I want to show you is where I keep my unlisted inventory. So as you can see here, I use your basic like BCW postcard boxes. They can hold roughly 700 postcards per box, depending on whether they're sleeved and how thick the card is and so forth. And I have things somewhat sorted out. So these first boxes here, these are all U.S. Postcards organized by state, alphabetically, of course. New York is where I'm based out of, so I tend to try to cater to New York buyers. So I keep a lot of New York cards in stock. Let's see, I love doing animal postcards, so I have 3 boxes of animals. Horses and dogs get their own because I have a stupid amount of them. Advertising postcards, these are going to be like your rack style cards. I enjoy listing those. Holidays, self-explanatory. Here is a box of foreign cards. I'm still in the process of sorting my foreign cards. They take a while because I don't speak all of the languages. I enjoy listing QSL and National Postcard Week cards, so I keep them separated from the state cards. I think this is just a box of miscellaneous, like plant postcards and boats and planes, automobiles, that sort of thing. I still got to get a label for that. Here, these are some of the foreign cards I'm still sorting. I've got spare dividers there. Like everyone, I have piles that need to go somewhere that I still haven't dealt with. And I have some other boxes over here. This is a collection I recently got from Ithaca, New York. My friends brought them up to me about a month ago. So I started off listing, I think, about 300 cards from this set. And I'm starting to slow down, so what's probably going to happen is I'm going to start sorting these into the regular boxes. And then they'll just become part of my normal routine. And I got a bunch of geology cards here that I have separate at the moment. I realized I didn't show you the inside of one of these boxes, but so this is my H to M box. Hawaii is actually split between 2 boxes at the moment. But then I got the dividers, so Idaho behind there, so I don't have a lot of Idaho at the moment. Illinois, got a good chunk, so forth, so forth. And so that's what all the boxes look like. Alrighty, so this is sort of the meat and potatoes of my setup, and that's Jadzia. So, hi Jadzia. But I have all these separate bins. As you can see, they're all sort of categorized. And this is where I sort what I call my special topics into. So when one of these bins gets empty, for example, say New York. Right now, New York has the last of the Albany postcards that I have. So say New York is empty. What I'll do is I'll go to my New York box and I will pick 2 cities or towns from New York, and I will pull every card that fits that topic. Or I could, do all bridges in New York or whatever I wanted to do. And I'll have those 2 in here. I'll do the same with the United States. That's what I'm going to be pulling today. I'll be pulling, I believe, all of my New Orleans postcards as well as all of my Cincinnati, Ohio postcards. And I'll put those in there. I got one for advertisement and or art. I think I'll probably do all the cards I have from the Met in New York. That's probably going to be my next one there. Holiday is self-explanatory. I have a few leftover St. Patrick's Day cards that just came in recently. These all have glitter on them, which is why they're not listed yet. I have to take pictures of them separately. Can't run those through the scanner. Let's see. Foreign right now is filled with Germany postcards. I have to figure out a new way of doing foreign. I can't list a whole country at once typically. It's never going to get done that way. So what I'm thinking is I might do, say, for example, all the bridge cards I have for Germany. So it's taking what is otherwise a large chunk and breaks it down. Because again, I don't speak many languages. I barely speak English. So trying to do all of Germany would mean I would never touch another foreign card again other than Germany. Science and sci-fi, self-explanatory. For the time being, this is primarily geology-related cards. That's just all I have as far as science. I have a bunch of NASA, but that's my personal collection. I got to sort through it to see what duplicates I have before I bring that out. But I'm thinking probably Arches National Park will be one of my next ones. I just finished the Grand Canyon recently. Animals, again, self-explanatory. I'm probably going to pick one of the birds and then maybe a breed of dog. I haven't decided yet. Special topic, that is my wild card where I can pick whatever. The last one I did in here was everything skiing related, since when I was sorting, it was just at the start of winter. So I figured that was on point for the season. Again, talked about holiday. I'm pretty sure I'm caught up. I think I've done all my Easters already. So I'll probably just start listing anything patriotic heading towards the summer months. And I also use these in here. These just came with whatnot orders, but that's how I separate if I have more than one city or subject in one of the bins. And as you can see, these are stackable. They move around easily, so I can, whichever one I feel like I want to work on, I can just go and grab that particular bin. Alright, I'm going to try a quick voiceover here while you see a time-lapse of me working on sorting cards. This is something that I usually try to do when I need a break, because quite frankly, as I indicated before, you don't actually need to sort your postcards listing. You can just list them as they come. But I do find that sorting works best for me, so I try to do that, again, when I need a break from everything else. So what I usually do is I bring out whatever boxes I need to into the living room, put on some Star Trek, Jurassic Park, whatever I feel like watching, and yeah, then I start just sorting into piles based on what I'm working on. In this case, I was picking out New Orleans, Cincinnati, Ohio, picking out various animal postcards. It's always important when you're working. Stop for food. Food is important. Fuel will get you through the listing process. But in any case, I just keep going through this process until I've filled whatever bins I feel like filling. In this case, I went through what I've had sorted into boxes. I still have that set from Ithaca that I need to go through. There's probably more New Orleans and other relevant cards in there, but that will be for another day. At this point. Alrighty. So you saw the time lapse of me doing some of my sorting. I have now learned that time lapse, at least at the settings my phone currently has, does not take long. I'm pretty sure you saw 2 hours of me sorting and watching Star Trek in about 2 minutes, but whatever. I just figured I'd kind of show you some of the results, because I'm not sure how clear it was in the time lapse. But so I have my box here. This is my US box. So as I told you, my secondary city was Cincinnati, Ohio, which was far less. I mean, I knew it was going to be small, but it's far less than I anticipated. I got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 10 Cincinnati cards here, and at least one of them is probably going in the discard bin for damage. So that'll be a quick list. I'll probably do this first just to knock it out. New Orleans, on the other hand, I'm not going to bother counting it. This is going to take me a while. I had a feeling I had a lot. I didn't think I had this much. It's going to take some doing. What I'll probably end up doing as I'm going to list these is I'll start... I don't know if I'll start with the Continentals or the Standards. It kind of depends where I am in my listing process. But say I'm starting with the Standards. What I'd probably do is look through the back first and start sorting based on publisher. And it's just another way for me to break down what is, you know, a pretty large chunk into smaller sections, and it allows me to have another field or two in the item specifics that I don't have to constantly edit as I'm going. And because that is so big, I may find myself picking another small city at some point just to break up the monotony of only listing New Orleans. Bring another bin over here. This bin is the animal bin. I did a few things with the animals. In this case, I picked a couple birds. I started with pelicans, and I also chose flamingos. So, you know, not too bad on either side. I was thinking we're getting into warm months. This is probably mostly going to cater to the Florida crowd, but I do tend to have a lot of Florida buyers, so why not? And then I picked a series from the dogs. Let's see. Let me show you what I got going on here. First, I have this small section of, let's see, William Wegman dog postcards. He did a whole bunch of different like photograph art with dog in different poses. I guess you really can't see that because that's in the way. Maybe I'll throw a image up on the screen. But in any case, I've done pretty well with him. Anywhere between $6 and $10 per card, depending if that particular image is out there a lot. So I've been trying to list them as I get them. I also have a little miscellaneous stack here. Dalmatians, as well as German Shepherds. I think that's a German Shepherd. It looks like a German Shepherd. Same with that one. I've done really well with both Dalmatians and German Shepherds. I've had dedicated buyers in the past, so anytime I notice I've missed a few in my back inventory, I try to list them as soon as possible. And this one should be in a different bin, but I also took out any dogs I had with the little chicks. Figured these would be a good Easter substitute, or, well, not substitute, but a good Easter related card, so I'll get those listed as well. And then, let's see. I only had two, but Afghan Greyhounds. I love Greyhounds. These are, you know, fluffy Greyhounds, so I grabbed those. Anything that was Dachshund related, or at least what I thought was Dachshund. I'm not always the best with my dog breeds. I grabbed those. And then anything Border Collie, good old Lassie, I grabbed those as well. So those are my animal topics at the moment. And I did go through, I did grab some more for New York. I did United Nations. I grabbed Schenectady as well. I was hoping to find some for my personal collection, which I don't appear to have what I'm looking for, so I'm going to have to go buy those. Oh well. And I did pick out Syracuse as well. I thought I was going to have a lot more Syracuse. I do not. I only got a handful, so those won't take long to list. I found one Albany card that I had missed the first time around. But I did see a lot of Buffalo, so I'm thinking Buffalo might be on the docket for next time. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't picked out my other subjects yet. I still have to do my art cards and my science cards, etc. But I figured you watched me sort enough. So that's basically my process. If you're interested, I can have follow-up videos if I find any interesting cards as I'm going through these different subject matters. Because that's something that I like about the sorting method is, all right, I got, I don't know, 100, 200 New Orleans postcards to go through. Most of them are probably going to be my base price, $5.49 free shipping. But every so often, as you're going through the process, you're going to find some that are 10, 15, 20, 35. If you're lucky, maybe more. And by going through all of one city, all of one topic at a time, you start to have a better idea what in that subject matter is good and what's sort of basic. So when you're outsourcing, you have kind of a better idea what to look for. So let me know what you think about sorting. Are you a sorter? Are you a non-sorter? What's your method? What would you like to see on this channel? Honestly, I'm grateful for you all to be here, and I hope you'll be back for future videos. Thanks.